All right. Good eye, mice. This is Alan Compass, and you're checking out the Three Count Podcast. Cheers. What's going on?
Do you wanna get live with me? Do you really wanna ride with me? I'm in the club, baby, grind on me.
Welcome, everybody, to another great edition of the Three Count Podcast Presents Now Entering, and I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you up that mountain called wrestling. And by now, with this being season 5 and our, 370 something episode, I would just hope you say it with me. I am your shepherd, because like your tribal chief, acknowledge me. But it's never about me. It's about who's entering. And why is that? Because you got to find someone who's been there, done that, and can do it more efficient than you can. So, like I said, it's about who's entering. So, who's entering? You can find this person at PAPW, OWF, PWW, 2TW, GNW, USWF. He is fly. He is strong. He is the one that lands from down under right here. And that just makes it a global thing going down. So here he is, Mr. Alan Compass.
How's everyone doing? Thank you for that very elaborate, awesome introduction.
No, I appreciate this.
Oh man, no, we're gonna have a blast. I'm just ready for some fun, mate. Ready for some fun.
No, so like one of the best things about it is like you and I have kind of crossed paths just here and there. Like when I moved up here finally from down in Maryland up to Massachusetts. So I moved up here and we kind of just crossed paths a couple times. And finally I was like, yo, I just need to bring this man on the podcast and just have a conversation with him because it's just so much fun being around someone like you. And it just reminds me of a time when I was, for those who don't know, right, when I was overseas and I got to hang out with a bunch of people from, Britain and Australia and New Zealand, like from all those areas. And we all got to sit around and tell campfire stories, for those who know.
No, that's awesome. I mean, my number one thing, even if it's the worst day, I try, and that gets me in trouble sometimes. I'm always trying to have fun, even if it's the worst day. So I just got to put a smile on, and if I'm making other people smile, then it kind of makes me happy. So
I think it's one of those things too, man. It's like, as long as you're, even for me, like I get in trouble because like people are like, I don't really get you. Like you're just like all over the place. I'm like, listen, like I'm just me. Like I'm
yeah.
high energy. Like I'm a lot of fun. I crack a lot of jokes. I'm still learning this game, right? But the one thing about it is like my character, yeah, he's a mercenary, but at the same time, like I'm just kind of like whatever I need to be. I don't have to be just one thing. And I think that's what it is about you is that you come off with such like this like loud persona. I'm like, yo, I immediately get wrapped into it.
I don't have an inside voice. No, so, no, I don't.
I don't think anybody in professional
No,
wrestling has that
no.
because like it's one of those things like I've realized and I tell people all the time like there's this beautiful quote that was told by Seth MacFarlane when he was describing who Peter Griffin is, right? And he says that every he's like Peter Griffin is just like he's like I knew 1,000 Peters, but it's whatever like here. There's no filter. It's just whatever's here. It's just going right out. And I think of the same thing too. I'm like I just fire off random stuff all the time, and people just
Yeah,
look at me like I'm nuts.
yeah. I just started my own little morning cup of coffee with Alan Compass and Frank. For those of you who don't know, Frank is my whooping crane. and I've got like 3 episodes posted, and they're a couple minutes each. But it's the most ridiculous nonsense, and I just have so much fun. I'm out there drinking my coffee, so I'm like, why not? So, my neighbors probably think I'm out of my mind, but it's fine.
Oh, don't worry, because like 2 years ago, I had the random idea of like wanting to do like I was like, how funny would it be if like Red Dog himself was just like, I'm gonna go ahead and just put out random thoughts, and it's gonna be once a week, but every week you're gonna get them, and we're gonna call it Red Dog's Thought of the Day, but it's only coming out once a week,
Yeah.
and it's so like every week I started coming
Yeah,
out for 2 years now. Like I've been doing this every Wednesday. I just drop a random thought.
that's great. No, and on the fly is really the best because I can't do it better than on the fly. I'm very comical, and I was wrestling a friend, and they're like, "Can you give me some kind of heads up as to what you might say in the ring?" And I'm like, "I have no idea. I have no idea." So
Yeah, I tell people all the time, I'm like, nah, I don't have anything for you, bro.
yeah, and then within like 30 seconds, he was crying. He was laughing so hard. He's like, "I hate you, Alan. I hate you so much."
I was working a match with JS Hawthorne, right? And there's a point in the match where he has me wrapped for a Russian leg sweep, and he's like, take a bow, and I was like, do I do I get to win? I forget how I said to him. Oh, they get to win an Oscar, and he's like, it's a Tony, you imbecile, and he slams me right, and I bump, boom, I'm selling. I look, I see the camera right in front of me, like, can I just get a Razzie? And I remember looking back and all of a sudden, like both hands covering his face like this because he's laughing and he's not trying to break character.
Yes. Yeah.
It's those moments that are great. I love when you get to be spontaneous with somebody.
We did something. Oh my god, the last couple matches just had spontaneous things in it, and like the crowd was roaring in laughter last weekend at PAPW.
Mm.
I did this Burger King crown spot, and it's like a minute 20 seconds. I posted the clip, and like all I can hear, and then I almost broke because I didn't think it would be as funny as it was. Like I was like, this is gonna be great. I go, stop. I honestly, one of the guys that I thought was gonna be like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen, because he saw me go out to the ring with the Burger King crown on, and he was like, so, and then I did it, and he was just like, Alan, I was like crying, like what the hell? So,
I had a similar incident. I had brought it up to the promoter. I was like, yo, would it be weird if I just like hit a Carlton in the middle of the ring, but like pointed to the DJ and like he plays "It's Not Unusual" by Tom
oh
Jones,
my,
and he's like, "That's never gonna work." I was like, "It's gonna work." He's like, "It's not gonna work." I was like, "I promise it's gonna work." He's like, "How much would you put on it?" I was like, "Uh, a lot. It's gonna work. I bet the crowd gets into it." And sure enough, like we get there, we're starting to put like it's me, Stan Styles, especially because anybody who knows Stan Styles knows how this is gonna go. And then our friend Jesse O'Ryan, who also lives in Maryland. So we get ready to do like the test of strength 3-way, and I was like, wait, I got a better idea. I was like, DJ, hit it. Starts playing, the crowd starts laughing. They're like, what's going on? You could tell they're confused. And then I go in to start hitting the Carlton, and instantly everybody breaks out laughing because then I get Jesse involved, and Jesse's like, he doesn't know how to really do it, so he's just like trying. And then Stan Styles is not getting involved because he's
not
like,
even
absolutely not. But it was beautiful. And like
no.
afterwards, the promoter was like, yeah, that totally worked.
Yeah.
It's like, I know.
I gotta just go for it. I try and come up with different stuff constantly. I just created a new thing earlier today. I just ran out of the school to come in my car.
Like, do you guys know where Alan went? Like, I don't know, man. He's been gone for a little bit.
We were in fatal 4-way match because it was a tournament. So I had my singles match, and then the winner of each singles match went into the 4-way. And I did the spot, and I was like, I called the idea to the other face in the match, and he looked at me like I had lost my mind. He's like, he goes, "Can you even do that?" I go, "I don't know. We're gonna find out now." Paul Roma goes, "Holy!" I don't know if I can swear. He said, "Holy F word! I've never seen that before."
Nice.
I'm glad it worked. Troy Stevens is glad he didn't die, so I'm glad he didn't die too.
Yeah. Because there's a big worry about all that stuff. Like, you gotta safety first, but more importantly, you gotta have fun doing whatever you're doing. You live one life, YOLO. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and I've said it like, I'll go out and practice, and I'll do certain things. I won't bump as much at practice, but I will put my life on the line every night for these people. I love them. I love these people, and I love being out there. So it's worth it.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Like I get it. Hey, I want to ask this question, and I want to see how you respond to it. But who is Alan Compass?
So this is the easiest question, because Alan Compass is the most real version of myself there is. This is who I was for only really like how I act when I'm around the very few people that I had trusted the most in my normal life. I had people in my family who were just like, no, too silly all the time. You got to be serious. You got to do this. You got to do that. And I was afraid to be me, like who I really wanted to be. And then when I got into pro wrestling, it's really just a larger, louder than life version of me. And that's why I think I have so much fun, is because I can just be myself around everybody now. And now outside of this too, I'm like accepted to be how I am, when at first I couldn't be like this around people, even people that I loved. Like, it was just, it's like, ah, come on, what are you? But they see me out there and they're just like, oh my God. Like, even my wife, who doesn't, who I think she's come to like one show, she'll support me. Like, she's really good about, she's like, no, she was her. She's like, follow your dreams. You're going to kick yourself if you don't. Um, she doesn't watch a lot of it because she's like afraid of like, oh, I don't want to see you get hurt. I tried to do like UFC stuff for a while, and I did like one match. And it's like, no. I was like, but I won. Wasn't it awesome? No, it was not awesome. So like,
It's traumatizing.
yeah, I think it was kind of cool, but this, I get to be a character. I get to be me, and I just get to have fun, and I get to be innovative. I come up with a lot of like new things that you don't see anymore, but I don't do all of them because I'm not super athletic. I'm very creative. I've got a good mind. So I'm like, hey, here's like a new kid, Stacks. You're a big dude. I'm not strong enough to do this, but I bet you could. And I'll give it to him, you know, like, hey, you could probably do a flip. Try this. All right, cool. So like, I keep some stuff to myself. I debuted something last show where I was on the apron and I did a stunner on the apron, but I do a back roll through the bottom rope at the same time how I land. It's a very smooth transition. So it's like, people are like, what the hell was that? And like, and I'm gonna like transition it into like maybe like a zigzag or something next time. So it's just coming up with different things. People don't want to do the same shit every day. So
Yeah, it's one of those things where like I try to think of like fun stuff that people are currently doing, and then I try to implement it in somehow, some fashion. Like a couple years ago, I only did it one time. I have the video of it. That's all I really wanted it for, was to do the video. But I did Kenny Omega's like steamroller into like,
okay,
and I was
yeah.
and funny enough, like I was afraid of doing moonsaults, so I just didn't want it. Even though I can do a moonsault, I was like I didn't want to do it, so I did Kenny Omega's like steamroller to set it up, and had the kid above me do a backflip and land it because it was a triple threat match.
Yes.
But I was like, yo, actually, I hit it and the crowd popped, and I was like, oh, that was kind of cool. It was like, so I tried it again. I think like a couple weeks later, I tried it again, and the funny thing was is I had messed up my elbow prior in the match, and so I didn't get a chance to get a full rotation through with it. It still looked pretty good, but I was like, I just haven't done it since, and I think that's part of me. Just like I just haven't done it. I want to, but I just haven't shot for it yet.
I've hit 3 Canadian destroyers ever, and 2 of them were beautiful, and the one this weekend sucked because sometimes it happens.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
Yeah, sometimes this happens. We were still safe. It's just I was tired. I worked for the first time I worked. So in the tournament, it was I had my match, and then I got taken out at the end of my match, and then we went immediately into the finals. And I was like, I'm so tired.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Just chill out.
I know.
For the love of God.
I know.
Rest spots only.
Yes, please. Now, this was not as great of an idea as I thought it was going to be. Damn. I was like, this is going to be so cool. I'm going to look so awesome out there. I was just like, oh.
I'm dying. It's one of those things. So it's crazy because you mentioned like I remember you mentioned that you had did a UFC fight, a mixed martial arts fight, and I remember when I was in the military, I had been training for mixed martial arts, and I remember like getting approval from my chain of command to do it, and I remember them asking me like, what was the worst thing that could happen? I was like, I could die. I was like, I think that's pretty bad, right? Like, I mean, torn ligaments and things like that can happen, but I could die if that's what you're looking for. And so they're like, okay, well, I guess we'll approve this and then go. And my mom was so nervous when I started training mixed martial arts. So when she heard that I wanted to be a pro wrestler, she's like, "Oh, you can be just fine." I was like,
Yeah.
"Mom, I don't think you know how this works, but okay, yeah, I'm gonna be good, Mom. Don't worry."
The very first match my mother came to see, I made sure that Hunter Tarka hit me with a back body drop so high just to freak her out. I'm terrible.
My mom hasn't seen me yet, right? Work a match, but my dad flew into town. It just so happened to be the one weekend where I had to like go drive to, because I had already agreed to it like a month like 2 or 3 months before he even like bought tickets. So he bought his tickets, and so we were at the show, and man, my friend TJ hit me with this lariat. It was so heavy that like and this will be the first time he hears this talk about it when he weighs attention to it. But he hit with this lariat and it knocked all the air out of me, and I hit the ground, and then the rest of the air left my lungs, and I'm just laying there. I'm like, "Ugh." But it was a good moment. Like the
Yeah.
crowd really got into it. They really thought that I was like gonna lose in this match. And
Yeah.
my dad was like, "How hard was that lariat?" I was like, "Can you see the color?"
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
No, it's hit or miss, man. Like I've had some ideas of like, let's do this, and then I'm like, oh well, that was a horrible. The crowd went nuts for it, but afterwards I was like, oh, what a stupid idea.
What was I thinking?
I know. In the heat of the moment, and that's the thing. I find like you got to just do things in the heat of the moment sometimes. Like it could be amazing. It could be like the best thing in the match. You never know. It's like it just sometimes things just hit me, and I'm like, I was working Jiggy Sosa, and I was like, we were just in a spot where it needed to be, and I'm like, take this, and I'm like, aha, but it's like you never know. So I they always trust your instincts.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely remember. I was working with a friend of mine. His name's Andino. We were at EWA, and he was looking to hit the bookend on somebody. He was like, I just want to hit the bookend on somebody, and my buddies all knew how much I love like taking big dojo bumps by myself. So they're like, Joe, you let Cliff do it. Yeah, like Cliff will jump for you. Just please hold on to him because he tends to jump a little too high. And everybody's like, what? It's like, no, I got him.
Yeah.
And sure enough, like Andino has me right. And as I go up, he did lose me in the air. And when I landed, like I guess the way I landed, like my hips and I'll see if I can move the camera. My hips and my back kind of rotated, so the lower part of my back pulled. And like the next week, I was like holding my back and was like, dude, what did I do? Oh yeah, that's right. I got rock bottomed.
Took a really crappy spine buster this weekend in the corner.
Oh
I
no!
rolled over to my go. Those normally feel better in the center of the ring.
I feel like that's a thing like a lot of people don't talk about. Like,
how did I get there?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
No, like yoga's like everybody, when they talk about so when they talk about it on like AEW or WWE or Impact, TNA, right? Whatever. When they say it's the hardest part of the ring, they mean that. Because like the center like has so much nice give to it, and depending on like the weather, obviously it's different most days. But bruh, if you take anything on the apron, it sucks a lot.
I was super pumped I was working a triple threat match a couple PAPW shows ago. It was at our Armada Brewing Company show that we do the first Saturday of every month. So we got one coming up in a couple weeks, and I was like, I'm gonna hit. I did this apron spear, but I didn't bump on the apron. I dove half my body through the ring while hooking the other guy's body. It was beautiful, but like the other guy had to take the apron bump, and I was so grateful that he did it because it was so cool. That was the finish. I go, this is gonna be the finish. Don't worry. And I like to do shit like that where I finish the match where it's not like always my finish move. So it's like I was looking back and I was like, show me your finish move the other day. I was like, yeah, cool. I'm like, where the hell's my finish? Oh, I don't. Oh, I only hit it in this and this. Like, I don't hit it as often as I think I do, I guess. So
it is crazy whenever you can find like fun spots to like end matches. Like I was working the wrestling independent in Philly, and there was a spot we had the God Bod, the Dad God Bod. He was with me, and he's the big guy in the match. Like he was the biggest guy in the match, and we're talking like both size and height, right? And so the story was like I was trying to pick this dude up for a spine buster, and I go to pick him up. I can't pick him up. I start to get him up. His tag partner hits me in the back. I finally get him up on the third time. We go down. We just go right to the pin because like the crowd popped, and I was like, "Hey, yo, that's it. Let's just go.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3," and that was it. We got out, and yeah, everybody came to me afterwards and were like, "Dude, that was like a good way to end the match. That was like a lot of fun." There was like, "I wish you would have got more offense in, but that was a great way to end the match." I was like, "Hell yeah!" I was like, as soon as I heard the crowd like start roaring, they was looking for me to pick him up, and then funny enough, in Philly, like I got the John Cena chant. Like a lot of people were calling me John Cena, and so I was like, I guess this works. Like, we just call it what it is. Just go with it.
Whatever makes them happy.
Whatever pops the crowd, we'll go for it right now, and then we'll just worry about the rest later.
Yeah.
Yo, talk to me about one of the worst bumps you've taken.
Oh yeah, that was so I was in a 2 out of 3 falls match, and everything that could have went wrong went wrong. So, but no one would ever know because we just changed things on the fly. Oh, like the managers were supposed to get involved, and they just didn't. So I was like, oh, I guess we're making up a new finish. I guess we're making up a new cutoff. I guess we're making. And I got to a point where I went for my pin, and the ref just didn't count. So I'm like, you know what'd be really cool? It's one of those spur of the moments. I go, scoop slam me on the outside. I'll just beat the 10 count. Then I broke my tailbone. But the sound that it made was awesome. And I didn't feel the broken tailbone till like 5 minutes after the match, where I was like, oh, wow, everything is terrible right now. But that was horrible. And like, it wasn't his fault at all because it was my idea. And he was trying to put me down safely, apparently. But my brain was like, no, I got to land like this when I land. Apparently not on the floor. There's a safer way to land on the floor. I'm glad I know it now. Now that I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah, learn those lessons the hard way. Well, no, I mean, like, it's crazy because, like, we don't think about those things in that moment. We call it and we go for it. And then if it works, it works. If it doesn't,
the crowd went nuts. Like, you saw their faces just like, oh, my God. And then you saw them go nuts cheering me on to beat that 10 count. Like that could have very well been like a count out. It was brutal. So it was good.
No,
I don't totally regret it.
My tailbone has been missing since then.
Yeah, I don't tell my wife 90% of the things that happened to me. The only time she ever was like, oh my God, was the one thing she saw. Like, I walked around with broken fingers, whatever, it is what it is. But I was in a hardcore match, I think last month or the month before, and freak accident. Kendo stick went over my shoulder, but then it broke, and it just was like all over the place, right in the face. So I look like Kratos. It kind of looks cool. I just had like this red thing around my eye. So I wasn't upset about it though.
No, if it makes you look more badass, that's where it's at.
Just like, oh my God, I go, it's kind of cool.
I had the Sub-Zero scar for a little bit because I was in a match. Someone didn't cut their fingernails and they dug them into my skin, and so like I legit just down the side of my face, I had like a red, like 4 red or 4 fingernails that like looked like they dug in my skin. They were pulling down, so I had the line, and I was like, yeah, this hurts a lot, but it also looks badass.
Yes. I was just talking to someone the other day about Sub-Zero because I have almost a complete collection of Dreamcast. Minus like 3 games, and one of them is Sub-Zero MK Mythology. That's what I gotta go find. Where you just play as Sub-Zero. Yeah.
I love that game.
Yeah. It's also terrible, but I also love it. Yes.
Yeah, it's like a good bad.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the bad of
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat Special Forces.
Yeah.
A lot of people are gonna be like, "Whoa, this conversation changed so quickly."
I know. Mortal Kombat.
Yes,
I play as Kano. That's who I like.
I can see why. I can see
Yeah, I
that.
know.
I can see that. No, my character of choice is either like I'm a noob. I know. I'm square with it when I tell people, but I love playing as Scorpion. I'm a massive like fan of his.
So
But
I
then
really liked 10. I love 11, but I liked 10 because my favorite thing about it was every Scorpion didn't play the same. Every Sub-Zero didn't play the same. You could customize your move set, and you never really knew what to go. I used to do fighting games like on like a regular, and I just like, yeah, cool, I win all the time, but I don't like it. I like competition. I don't want it to be easy, so I like that element of surprise. Like, oh, I didn't know, I didn't see that coming.
yeah. See, I'm a big and when I play, like I'm usually like big with New Sabai or even like recently, like I love Nightwolf. Like he's just from
Yeah,
Mortal Kombat 2 on, I've always been just a massive fan
yeah.
of his. So Nightwolf, and I'm also I'm also a big, I don't know if a lot of people realize this or not, but like if you follow me on Twitter, on X, whatever, you're gonna see randomly me tweet out at Ed Boon to put in Art
Okay.
Lean from Mortal Kombat 95, like the movie, because I was like, my man never got his justice, and
I
he
love
gets,
that movie.
yeah. I tell people all the time, I was like, yo, we need justice for Art Lean. Like my man needs to be in the video game to take out Goro once and for
Yes.
all. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't fair for him.
That's funny.
So yeah, you'll see me randomly just tweet out at Ed Boon, just like at Ed Boon. We need Art Lean brought into Mortal Kombat. Hashtag justice for Art Lean, and just like put it out there and just wait just to see if I ever see him pop in a video game. I'm
I,
trying to get people to get into it, but
I
no one.
wanted to see Scorpion and Smash Brothers. I don't know what happened. They dropped the ball.
That would have been great. I
It would
mean,
have been.
the collection of all great fighters into that
It
game.
would have been so good.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Yeah,
all right, back to wrestling. What are we
yeah.
doing?
So tell me about one of the hardest lessons that you had to learn being in the business.
Everyone can't be your friend, I guess. I am. I'm a very genuine, nice person. I like everyone. I really do. Uh, I grew up a complete loser, so I mean, I'm glad that I've made the connections that I've made, turned some shit around, and like, but I have learned that even if you're a great person, there are going to be people who just hate you, even if you didn't do anything. Like, and that sucks because I genuinely want the best for everyone. We're in it together. I don't need to be the top star of WWE. Do I have goals? Absolutely. I want to win championships here in my home promotion. I like the idea of traveling. I I would rather go to AEW more than anything because I love that they let you have your character creativity. And if you drop the ball, then you drop the ball. It's on you. But like I wouldn't do this the same in the E if they were like, all right, you're gonna be Steve Stevenson and you really like balloons or some weird like, all right.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm gonna get behind that, but you never know. I like the fact that I can be myself, and that's very important. So I try to be friends with everyone. I'll always be genuine and kind, but it sucks. Not
Yeah.
everyone wants to be your friend. So
It's one of those things that like I've had like kind of pounded in my head like over and over and over again, like from different people, different wrestlers, like all the time, like talk to me about it. And it is the unfortunate thing. Like we want to be this community that like builds itself on the same goals, but then at the same time we also understand like there's limited spots, and so you're gonna have to showcase who you are and be the best at what it is that you do.
I get
Otherwise,
that.
you know,
No, I
there's
get that,
other
and I get that there's people cut. So here's the thing: I see like a lot of like cutthroat, and they're like, I don't want to help you because what if I lose my spot? You know what I mean? But the way I personally look at it is, what if I get to the top and I gonna help anyone get there with me, and now I'm alone? Like I like to build my friends up with me. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, any chance I get, it's like, hey, I'm going down to Massachusetts and they're gonna have some openings. Like, why don't you take a ride? Very well. Maybe they'll like your character more than mine. Who cares? Like, if I can help you in any way, at the end of the day, I'm happy that my friends are doing good too. There's a lot of places I could work that I don't. I like to try and keep. I don't go certain places because I dislike. I don't not go to certain places because I dislike them. I try and keep my family, where I am, where I know that I love these people, and people come over and they'll see me. I did just make a big road trip to. We wrestled in West Virginia, and then we wrestled in uh, North Carolina, and that was awesome. Wrestling in North Carolina was like nothing I've ever done before, and it was just such a different feeling. The crowd was different, so I love that you have a stationary camera. That must be so nice for you.
It definitely is. Like, it's one of those things like uh going to like having the show for as long as we've done it, right? So we've done the show for 5 years, and it's gone through different iterations. But one thing I definitely learned like pretty early on was it's nice to have like a random camera I can do.
Yeah.
Also, like I have my camera up here and my phone's even like right over here, but just not having to rely on you got to hold your hand up and not like try it not to, and then your arm gets tired and you're like trying to like figure out the right spots to put it. Yeah, I definitely understand where you're coming from though.
Normally I like rested on something and I'm like, this is fine. I don't know. I feel like it keeps going crooked somehow. I'm like, here we have a cameo. Get over here for your cameo, clown face.
Hey,
What's going on?
what up? What up?
There we go. What are you doing? You leaving?
Yeah, I'm about to go.
You got me and Jekyll over here. We play the One Piece card game. You go through my binder. Go sit in the back and go through my binder and take whatever you need. There you go.
And that's what you get on this show. You get randomness that pops off all the time, and it's a lot of fun. That's why I love the show.
Good. I saw that you were gonna be on the 2TW, but then I got moved. I don't know if you're still on the. Are you on the one on the 8th?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know. Like
I gotta go look.
I wasn't. So I was told about the 2TW show, and I you know what's crazy? I wasn't even told about that show. A fan randomly texted me or messaged me and DM'd and was like, "Hey, you can be on this show." I was like, "I am."
Yeah,
So
good.
through the card, and I saw that I was going to be there. I was like, "Oh, apparently I am." So I was like, "All right, I guess I'm there." So
Yeah.
and then they got canceled, and I was like, "Oh, damn." But yeah, so
next one's the 8th, so I'm looking forward to it.
yeah. So if they reach out, maybe we can talk business and we can figure it out. But
Yeah.
we'll see. We're gonna hop into my favorite part of the 3 Count podcast, which is the 3 Count podcast, 10 count questions. And this is how it works, Mr. Compass. I'm gonna fire off 10 questions at you rapid fast, and whatever your answer is, that is your answer.
Do I have to answer them rapid fast?
I mean, you can take your time to think about it if you want to. But...
Okay, here we go. This will be
all right. So we're gonna put on an imaginary timer for added pressure.
All right, here we go.
And in the words of my favorite commentator, Mike Goldberg, here we go. SmackDown or Raw?
SmackDown.
Favorite movie?
Titanic.
Will you shut the hell up? I'm not asking you. Why is my camera going? No, Ninja Turtles, the first one.
Apple or Android?
I don't know. I don't even know what I have.
Nice. I like it. Favorite TV show?
I met your mom.
I'm gonna kill him. Oh my god. One Piece.
Waffles or pancakes?
Waffles.
Favorite actor?
I'm gonna kill him. I swear. Favorite actor is wow. I like Johnny Depp. I'm glad I didn't call him Jack Sparrow this time.
It would have worked. I would have got it. Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Favorite podcast?
This one? I don't know.
That's right.
I don't know a lot.
Nominate one person that you want to see on this podcast.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Jekyll. Make Jekyll do this so I can invade his podcast.
I like it. And then last but not least, my favorite question to ask every single person who comes on this show: favorite curse word.
I don't know. I guess my mother yells at me because I say the F word too much, apparently. That's the thing I didn't realize I was doing. I
Yeah,
guess
no.
that's it.
Full on transparency. The word "fuck" is allowed on here.
No.
Yeah. It's water in this on this podcast.
Boy. I think I don't know what the rules are.
But bet, yo, those are all my questions for you. So the last thing I need is for you to let the listeners and the viewers know where they can find you.
All right, listeners and the viewers, all of the people. If I haven't made you motion sick by now with my camera stuff, you can find me at Alan Compass on Instagram and Facebook. That is where I am mostly. I have also started to do X Twitter thing. I'm not great at it, but we're growing. We're learning. I like Instagram and Facebook because I can share to one and then it goes to the other. And that's where you can see my new coffee series with Frank the Whooping Crane. Utter ridiculousness.
Bet. Well, there you go. He gave you all of his handles. He told you where you can find his talk show. Okay.
Hurrah.
So you're doing all that stuff. And like our favorite part of a wrestling match, we're taking this home. Because this is the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Entering, and I'm your host, Clifford the Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you up that mountain called wrestling. And like I said, you always got to find someone who's been there, done that, and can do it more efficient than you can. That's why it's never about me, but it's who's entering the ring. And you see him right there, Mr. Alan Compass himself. And so you know what that means. Tune in to the next episode and be there, or you're literally following us on all of our social media platforms. You're checking us out on Spotify. You're subscribed to our YouTube channel. You're listening to us on Amazon Music. You're even checking us out on iHeartRadio or whatever that dumb jingle is that they do. You're buying our merch on For Your Wear or even on ProWrestlingTees.com. You're telling your mom about us. You're telling your dad about us. You're telling your brothers about us. Your sisters about us. Your uncles, your aunties, your cousins. That best friend of yours that was your best friend, that isn't your best friend, is your best friend, isn't your best friend again, and it went back to being your best friend. That person. And you're telling your haters about us because we love haters too. So you're doing all that stuff. You're paying all of our bills, or you're really just like waiting for that outro. You're waiting for this episode to end, and then you're choosing another episode to listen to. Kawaii. What's going on? It is Clifford Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you up that mountain called wrestling. And what we need from you guys is just kind of show some support, right? We want you guys to go to our YouTube channel at the 3 Count Podcast, go on to our Twitch channel, 3 Count Pod, or even our Facebook page, 3 Count Podcast, and just give us a like, follow, subscribe, even give us a comment, right? Do all that cool stuff. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with your enemies, right? Or you can even come talk to us and just chat us up, right? Find us on Twitter at 3Count_pod. Find us on IG and on TikTok at 3 Count Pod. Go ahead and leave us those comments. We want to hear from all of you guys. We're going to keep putting on videos and stuff like that. We want to keep making this content better, so we want your guys' support. Also, if you guys want to, go support us at ProWrestlingTees.com/the 3 Count Podcast, or even find us on ForYourWear.com. Give us the support. Show us your guys' love, because we want to give it right back to y'all. So, in the meantime, love y'all.